don't want to be bent out of shape. I don't want to be stuck in the past. And I'm not responsible for what Rose did. None of us are. Not you, not Pearl, and not Garnet. But I am responsible for me. And right now, I am not going to dump another 1,000-year-old complex on you or anybody else.
Whoa. Just whoa. What's Your Problem is the 20th episode of the 5th season of Steven Universe, and it focuses on Amethyst basically trying to cheer Steven up and know what's really bugging him about the whole his mom turned out to be Pink Diamond thing. So the episode starts off with Pearl, Sapphire, and Steven coming back from Rose's Fountain to find out that Ruby just bailed. And the handwriting is still different, I just had to point that out. But Amethyst is basically just playing video games, and Pearl's like, she ran away, you were supposed to look after her. And Amethyst is like, I'm not her babysitter. So Amethyst is trying to have Steven play video games while Sapphire is quite visibly crying, and Pearl joins her crying saying, you guys are my favorite couple. And I'm like, oh my god, what is this, Tumblr? And they just start bawling their eyes out, and Amethyst is like, you guys should go into the temple, let me and Steven play some games. And we're like, no, because obviously that sounds really insensitive and horrible. And Steven says, I'm gonna go get Ruby back. But when you think about it, he's basically, Sapphire upset Ruby and Ruby left. But now Steven is saying he's going to go and get Sapphire back, like that's going to fix it. They're not even focusing on what Sapphire wants because, what Ruby wants because Sapphire is crying. So Steven goes, and then Amethyst sees Pearl and Sapphire crying, and Amethyst is like, yo Steven, wait up, I'm coming with you. And the two of them crying, that whole scene just made me think of, is this how other people see the Steven Universe community? Because there's this joke of, we just cry a lot, and then other people are like, I don't want to watch this show because I don't want to turn into this crime mess as well. So we get a sort of mini Beach City fluff-ish type montage where Amethyst and Steven are looking for Ruby. They go into the ocean. We see Amethyst shrink down to her gem size. It's so cute and adorable, and she enters inside a shell, and we just see Steven just saying, Amethyst, we need to be serious. And it was kind of annoying how serious Steven was being and how goofy Amethyst was being, because Amethyst was trying to be a little too much like Amethyst, and Steven was trying to be a little too serious, if you catch my drift. So as they're going through town, Amethyst tries everything to give Steven a distraction or to have fun, but he's like, no, we need to keep looking, to the point where Amethyst is like, Steven, let's forget about Ruby for a moment and go eat. Amethyst, as always, picking the wrong words, and Steven's like, no, I'm not hungry, and his stomach literally growls. And I'm like, this boy was willing to work himself to starvation just to find Ruby and bring her back, even though you don't know if Ruby wants to come back. They go in and they start eating, and Amethyst tries to talk to Steven, your mom, Pink Diamond, how do you feel? And then Steven kind of goes into, well, he's confused, he thought he started figuring her out, he's glad she didn't shout at anyone, but she's a liar. And I'm like, ooh, just calling your mother a liar straight out. And he's like, he always knew she was a liar. But in my head, the people in this show are much harsher than I thought they would be, considering how they've reacted to things in the past. So in my observation, is it because now they know she's a diamond that they're able to detach themselves from her? Because when she was Rose, they were more picky with what they called her, but now it's like straight up, she's a liar, but I'm glad she didn't shatter anyone. And I'm like, okay, when she shattered everyone, she was evil. She didn't shatter him, well, she's still a liar. Kind of a double standard there, Steven. So Amethyst kind of cracks and shows a little bit of her own thought process that this is not our problem, we didn't do anything, why are we having to clean up the mess? So I think she's talking about all the corrupted gems and all the fallout and all the emotional baggage. And then Steven was like, oh my god, Amethyst, do you need help? Are you also in trouble? Amethyst was like, no, she's your mom, we should talk about you. Amethyst's goal is to try and find out what's wrong with Steven, so her having that little outburst kind of also made her angry, which Steven is kind of reading as, oh my god, she's so upset about this, which Amethyst is trying to show him I am not. Then Jenny walks in and is telling Kiki, yo, I got the biggest tip from Mr. Universe. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Greg is still rich. And they talked about Ruby, how his friend must have been so upset that she was red. I had to deliver out of our jurisdiction. Oh sorry, our delivery radius. I don't know why I was saying jurisdiction. Up on Lonesome Hill or something, mountain, whatever. And instantly the two of them are like, oh my god, Ruby. Amethyst is like, dude, I'm gonna go find Ruby. This is not your problem. You should chill. She goes out and Steven's like, Amethyst, someone needs help more and it's you. And I'm like, good god, this boy missed the point entirely. Amethyst shapeshifts into a helicopter and just bolts. And Steven is like, let me help you with your feelings. And it's Steven's way of trying to help somebody is much more aggressive than Amethyst. Steven actually jumping up and grabbing a hold of Amethyst's tail or whatever to try and get her to speak. And I'm like, whoa, Steven, buddy, you don't get someone to share their feelings that aggressively. And he just keeps saying, how does that make you feel? Even when they're crashing, god damn it. And I'm like, well, this is kind of how they make therapists out to seem, like they're always asking you, how does that make you feel? They crash land and Steven is like, Amethyst, just talk to me. And Amethyst just says, she says the truth. You were not born for this thing. I was not around, so we don't have to deal with this problem. She even says it, Garnet and Pearl don't have to deal with it. And I know everybody took a different meaning from this, but I'm about to get really political, so if you don't like that, just skip ahead by a minute or two. But I kind of took this as, in this generation, people are made to feel ashamed and sad for what their ancestors did. So you may not have done something, but because your ancestor did something, you are supposed to feel bad for that. It's like you did it yourself, but you didn't. It's not really your problem because you were not there when it happened. You had no say in it, and you're having to deal with the fallout for something that happened hundreds of years ago, or as Amethyst says, thousands of years ago. And that's what I just got from this situation, because it's like Amethyst said, she is not responsible for what Rose did, but she's responsible for herself. And that's a message that really rung home with me, and I wanted to ring home with other people. It doesn't have to be a specific situation. You are not responsible for what someone else did, not your parents, not your grandparents, not your ancestors, but you are responsible for yourself and your actions. So don't let someone else's problems affect you or depress you or cause you to be or do something that you are not, because you didn't do anything. I just loved that message so much. It rang home with me so much, and I hope other people picked up on that as well. And then the episode just ends with Steven saying, Amethyst, you might be the most mature crystal gem. And Amethyst is like, oh my god, no. And I'm like, yes, she is, because Garnet fell apart, Pearl is Pearl, and Steven has issues opening up and telling people how he feels, because throughout the seasons a lot of people complain that Steven doesn't ask basic questions, and it has turned him into a person where now he doesn't give answers as well. He doesn't pride the gems on, okay, what happened, what is this, what is that, and now he is the same way. People don't ask him how he feels, but he's eager to ask others. It's really sad, and he's a little kid. I'm sure that's something Amethyst has always seen as well. Nobody should be dumping these things on you. You are too young to deal with all of this. And Amethyst finally asks him, how do you feel? And he's like, he's okay. And I'm like, no, he's not. But he's happy that Amethyst opened up, and that made him happy, I guess. So after they calmed down, they had a breather, Amethyst shapeshifts into a helicopter again, and now they're gonna go and get Ruby because she's up on that place hill thingy with Greg. And the episode ends on another cliffhanger, which is just so sweet. This episode may not have been the most interesting or the most lore building, but the message was so powerful. It kind of made it good. I don't know where I'd rank this. Now We're Only Falling Apart is either my first or second favorite episode of this bomb, but this one is a little bit lower on the list. I would put this at 3. No, I'd put this at 4, 5. I don't want to put it last, but I don't want to put it not last because of the message. But yeah, let me also know where on the list this episode falls for you, and what meaning did you get out of Amethyst's message, because I know a lot of people interpret the message differently than I did. Do you feel the message kind of relates to maybe like political figures? What somebody you elected do doesn't reflect on your own actions? Let me know. But with that being said, I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks so much for clicking to watch. But with that being said, this is TVC signing out.